UPSC doesn't always reject the unworthy. Sometimes it simply overlooks the extraordinary. You gave years of your life, your entire 20s, your comfort, your celebrations, your relationships, all surrendered to a dream that wasn't just personal, but national. You stayed in small rooms with big hopes. You turned down jobs, ignored distractions, sacrificed peace. And after all of that, all you got in return was a single line on a PDF file that quietly said, "Not selected." You sit there in silence, not because you didn't prepare, not because you weren't capable, but because something inside you breaks when the system doesn't recognize your worth. But I need you to hear this now. This failure is not your reflection. It's the system's blindness. Sometimes the person evaluating your answer sheet knows less than you. Sometimes their bias, their mood, their ideology, or their fatigue writes your result. Not your talent, not your intellect, not your potential. Sometimes your thoughts are just too bold, too human, too alive for a system that favors silence over soul. You were never doing this just to clear a paper. You studied the Constitution because you believed in its soul. You read law not to win arguments, but to uphold justice. You memorized history not for marks, but to prevent the same horrors from repeating. You understood economics because you wanted to fix inequality, not just define GDP. You chose ethics because your character mattered more than your rank. That's not failure, that's purpose. And still, I've heard people say, even I was shocked I got through. Not toppers, just average candidates who somehow fit the format. And I've seen brilliant minds, the ones who breathed this nation into every answer, walk away defeated, whispering, "I don't know what more I could have done." That's when you realize this isn't about capability, it's about compatibility, with a system that sometimes rewards formula over fire. But here's the truth you're not told enough. UPSC is not the only way to serve your nation. Maybe this isn't rejection. Maybe it's redirection towards something even more powerful. What if I told you the path ahead isn't over, but just beginning? What if your next step wasn't in bureaucracy, but in politics? I know, politics sounds like a dirty word. It's been stained by corruption, dishonesty, and greed. But that's exactly why people like you need to enter it. If you don't walk in, it stays the same. But if people with your vision, your fire, your clarity, your honesty step forward, then everything changes. Because politicians don't just enforce rules, they write them. While civil servants implement policies, politicians create them. Politicians decide how the budget is spent, which village gets a school, which hospital gets a doctor, which law protects or destroys a life. Officers are the hands of government, but politicians are the mind and heart. They shape public opinion. They define what justice even means. Think about it. If people with no education, no compassion, no preparation can win elections and hold power, then what's stopping someone like you, who spent years understanding the very system they take for granted? You already have more knowledge, more dedication, more love for the country than many who sit in power. Imagine what would happen if you actually entered that space. You've studied governance. Now it's time to practice it. You've studied leadership. Now it's time to embody it. Create a platform. Lead a movement. Speak your truth. Join a party or build one. Contest elections. Stand on the floor of the House and raise your voice where others only raise hands. Because a UPSC officer might write the file that changes a village, but a politician decides whether that file ever gets approved. A civil servant might work within the law, but a politician can change the law entirely. So if the system didn't pick you, don't shrink, expand. Don't sit down, stand up, don't give up, grow up into something even greater, Because this country doesn't just need officers, it needs leaders, it needs truth speakers, it needs those who carry the pain of rejection and turn it into purpose. To everyone who didn't clear, maybe you weren't meant to serve from inside the system. Maybe you were meant to transform it. The exam ends here, but your duty to this nation has just begun. With utmost respect for your dedication and perseverance, EZE Academy extends its best wishes as you continue your journey to serve the nation in greater ways. All the best.